Let's keep going because there's news on Diddy. The latest is as follows. This is via ABC. LA Sheriff's Department investigating new sexual assault allegations against Diddy. The LA County Sheriff's Department says it's looking into new allegations. They say they've received a report on Friday from a police department in Florida, Mark, your backyard, where the alleged victim lives. But this is the LA County Sheriff's Special Victims Unit is going to investigate it. A spokesperson for the Largo, Florida PD told ABC the department assisted in this investigation over happening in California with whether Combs sexually assaulted a man in 2020. There's a 10-year statute of limitations, so we would be within it. The victim's name is redacted on the report, but music producer Jonathan Hay identified himself as the complainant in social media posts that have since been removed. Hay also identified himself as one of the John Does who filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in July. According to the police department, Combs pleasured himself in front of Hay and asked Hay to, quote, finish him off. Forgive me, listening audience. In February 2020, Hay said he did not respond because he was in shock and that Combs then tossed a, semen-stained shirt at him. It also details an alleged incident in March of 2021, so a separate one, in which Hay says C.J. Wallace, the son of the late rapper Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. the notorious B.I.G., took him to a location where two men put an item over Hay's head before Sean Combs once again enters the picture and allegedly sexually assaulted him orally several times. The report is that Hay provided Largo police with pictures and videos to show he was collaborating with C.J. Wallace on a music project, which he said led to him being introduced to Combs and the incidents occurring. Wallace filed a counterclaim against Hay in Florida last week, denying what he said were wildly false and defamatory allegations, calling them in part a calculated smear campaign intended to damage him. And a lawyer representing Combs said in a statement, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what's become a media circus, but making it absolutely clear, Combs categorically denies as false and defamatory all of these claims and looks forward to vindicating himself in court. That's a lot. How the hell do they get to the bottom of this one, guys?
Well, we discussed this on, a little podcast called MK True Crime the other day. Yeah. And one thing that I didn't hear you say that I read in our materials was that the guy, the alleged victim, underwent a rape screening scenario. Now, that doesn't mean he's telling the truth, but I always look for that. Did he really succumb to greater scrutiny to his allegations, or did he run to the nearest billboard and find an attorney for a money grab? This could be that. But I like that he is cooperating with law enforcement. I like that there are other witnesses that are involved that could corroborate his statement. And it also candidly does not seem like an allegation that's inconsistent with what we learned about what his MO is. Anything goes with him.
It is a little inconsistent. It is a little inconsistent.
Because it didn't involve lube? Come on.
It's inconsistent
because it didn't involve
forceful.
like a woman. I mean, I have to say, there were rumors that Sean Combs was gay. We heard rumors like that before the trial. But in all those weeks of testimony, Ashley, we never heard about Sean Combs getting it on with the male escorts. No. It was only that he liked to watch the women do it.
Right, completely. And it seems odd. There's no allegation of force. This isn't a kid. When you have a child, the force doesn't need to be shown. But when you have an adult, you have to actually show force for a sex crime. So you've got to show some type of, did you use a weapon? Did you hold him down? Did you lock him up? Something like that. Did he, if you just think about the actual act, where is the force and where, what happened when he was actually trying to get him to do this? Did he bite down? Like what, it's kind of gross to think about, but think about it. And there's ways that you could defend yourself in this type of case. Just doesn't make sense to me.
As a grown man. Go ahead, Phil.
On its face, you could say, all right, well, this is Diddy. Everybody knows how Diddy is. They could see this happening. But setting that aside, look, this is 6 years later. And we always have to ask the question, what is the reason for bringing this now? Okay, are you bringing it now because somehow you now have more evidence than you had back in 2020? I think the answer to that is absolutely no, because as time goes by, you tend to have less evidence to support your claims. The only thing he's got going for him now that might support his claims is that Diddy is now a known sex offender, right? And a known criminal. He's been convicted. He's in prison for it. And so everybody knows what Diddy really is. Okay. And so he's playing, in my opinion, into that public sentiment, trying to capitalize on it. Maybe it's true. I don't know. But I think that his ability to prove that it's true, which is what you have to have in a court of law, is proof. And certainly if they're talking about a criminal case, proof beyond a reasonable doubt, they're going to have something. They're going to have videos, photographs, actual DNA evidence, witnesses, something other than just this bare bones claim.
What about Phil Holloway, the fact that now he's a convicted sex offender? I mean, all that's going to come in, right? That can come in, and the jury could hear about the prior conviction.
Maybe. So look, let's just hypothetically say that he gets indicted and charged with this sexual assault from back in 2020. In order to bring someone's character in, there's lots of safeguards that are intended to cause criminal charges to stand on their own. We can't essentially convict people because of their general bad character.
But we've done it before.
But here's the thing, regardless of whether or not this evidence actually comes in, whoever's on this hypothetical jury in this hypothetical criminal case already knows what kind of person Diddy is. So, you could, I guess, theoretically say a jury could find him guilty just because they know, independently of any evidence that comes into a courtroom, what kind of person Diddy is.
Why are you shaking your head no, Mark?
The judge would tell him, no, you can't do that.
Because I'm surprised that everybody is conceding, especially two sharp defense lawyers here, that testimony would come out in this case.
I didn't concede that. I said the jury already knows it.
I got it.
I'm asking whether it would come in.
I don't, not in a million, not without me yelling at the judge. You can't plausibly analogize the fact that the man was convicted solely, this is all he was convicted of, transporting sex workers across state lines. That's what he was accused of. Mm-hmm. Now you have a case where he's accused of forcing his most private item into this guy's mouth, and I don't see how you plausibly analogize those cases. I didn't know what to say.
Well, and if the conviction for prostitution comes in, maybe that's what this was. You could always defend it that way. You never know.
Do you think it's interesting to me, you guys, that they're apparently going to the cops? Because Mark, you are the king of seeing the money grab in these cases. I mean, we've had countless segments where you actually hold out a little $20 bill and grab at it. Mm-hmm. But he didn't do that. He went to the cops first, which I don't know, I think that could help him. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it definitely will help. And Phil makes a great point, the delayed reporting that never helps. But a lot of people who've gone through tremendous trauma, it takes time for them to go through it. They know they're going up the all great, powerful, Diddy. It's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard to prevail. And so, maybe he waited for the right moment, the right climate. It doesn't mean that his allegations aren't any less true.
And he's within the statute of limitations. So, all right, quickly before we leave the subject of Diddy, report from the New York Post that his prison release date has been pushed back by 1 month, that he's been given an extra month of punishment. They report, allegedly, that the reason, again, it remains unclear, but they're citing TMZ for the proposition that he was in trouble with prison officials earlier this month for consuming homemade alcohol made of, everyone wants to know what it was made of, fermented sugar, Fanta, soda, and apples.
Oh, yeah.
Frankly, I just kind of want to see
toilet wine.
And how do you turn
they
that
make it in a
alcohol?
toilet?
You do? Ew.
It's so gross.
Ew. There's only one toilet. It has to be used for the other things too.
So
you got to really want your alcohol.
Jailers can't be choosers,
Megyn, I remember there was testimony at the sentencing hearing that he'd overcome his substance abuse issues and all, but now we hear that
wasn't authentic.
He's desperate enough that he's going to drink hooch out of the toilet. What's going on?
At a time, by the way, that he's earning probably a year off of his sentence by attending the federal RDAP program, where he's supposed to rid himself of drugs and alcohol. So there's the irony. Assuming it to be true, his people say it's not. So
he's like, Your Honor, I thought that was Fanta. I thought it was Fanta and apples. That's all I thought I was drinking.
Right.
I was thirsty.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's going so well for him there. My friend just lost her ring. She went to replace it. She realized it was a gold ring. The price of it has gone up like 25% since she bought the ring a year ago. That's because gold is on the march upward. And it is the one time of year that Birch Gold Group gives away free gold with every qualifying purchase. That's right, for Black Friday, when you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, Birch Gold will send free gold to your home for every $20,000 purchased. Gold started this year around $2,600 an ounce. By October, it was over $4,000 an ounce. Why? Global uncertainty. 2025 has been defined by trade wars, central banks are pulling from the US dollar as the global reserve currency, and military tension continues to build. Gold thrives in times of uncertainty, and if you are looking to diversify your savings, Birch Gold can help you. Plus, now through November 30th, get free gold, I say, with a qualifying purchase. Just text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and for a free info kit on gold. But your opportunity for free gold with purchase will end on November 30th, so don't wait. Text MK to the number 989898 for full details. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.